Hello, 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 and we are live. Welcome to Square Work Media evening stream. Uh, yeah, I decided hours and hours back I was like just gonna walk away and leave that motherfucker going, just so the people that like to fucking threaten and harass me and stalk me and shit, they could just look at Blake's screen and talk shit forever and be bored out their minds and get upset. Hopefully, what I got told to me, it worked sort of. And not a, yeah, I know the people they were thinking like, oh, he don't embarrass now. I don't give a shit. But anyways, guess what, guys? We got some videos to look at. Thanks to drop. Yeah, yeah. You know it's bad when the filthy animal tells people to have your shit sent to the peoples. You know it's bad when that happens. So the filthy animal, oh my god. I really wanted to just go ahead and fucking look at this earlier when I watched it the first time and just fucking commented two comments on it because it didn't premiere until uh, hours back. But I didn't want to mess up what I was doing, trying to fucking hold on. All right, let's see. Let's check this out now.
Truth be told here. Well, the drunken, simping, idiot named Glenn Whitmer has really outdone himself this time, making the Workiverse look pathetic and weak. But before we get into that, let's hear a few words from the CEO of the Workiverse.
Let me touch on it there, Cat Daddy. See, there's something called terroristic threats. Death
You've made plenty of them, filthy. Don't be on your high horse.
threat after death threat.
Just because you got enough people to, I mean, number one, your identity's not out there and everything. You got hundreds of people protecting everything. But anyways, we're focusing on Mr. Glenn Whitmer here.
Now, I'm personally not going to send it anywhere but to Rumble.
Of course.
But if any of you good people in here feel the need to forward this to his local police department, you know, but it's not looking good for you. It's not looking good. But regardless, the threat was
That nephew is going to finally, be free of that piece of shit drunk bastard.
made. Now, you get on here and do a lot of fucking things.
Not only did he make threats, he also, this is kind of overlooked, he operated a firearm too while clearly intoxicated, talking about give me a beer, this. I know that's not really as big in comparison to the other thing, but it's still significant because he operated that on camera while intoxicated. There's no doubt about it.
But you cannot threaten to kill people for an hour. And from my understanding, there's more than one person that's willing to get these videos out to his local police department.
I will.
Feds.
Hey, I'll be the first one. Someone just dropped down his fucking location of where he lives.
You know,
Or hell, I can find that with enough looking.
like Gene said, you know, if there's a law been broken, it needs reported. And I'm sure we got some citizens in here tonight that's loves God, loves the law, and you might feel the need to do your civic duty. Now, if you do, more power to you. If you don't, that's cool too. I mean, that's totally up to y'all. Now, how big a fucking loser do you have to be, and how pathetic to sit on the panel with somebody talking about murdering? But I think the right people's going to send this to where it needs to go, and I think we're going to be reading about something else. That's my predictions, what's getting ready to happen here. And I think it's going to happen within the next 3 to 5 business days. Everyone knows the FBI don't work on Sundays. That's what Square said. You know, freedom of speech, yeah, you got it. But there's also accountability for the speech that you're talking.
Is this for real? This is usually what I say.
You can't do that. I hope them pigs find this quite as interesting as what I did. Actually, I think they might find it a little more interesting than I did.
Well, then, those are the words of the Workiverse CEO himself, Filthy Animal. And now let's get into what transpired last night. Shall we?
Workiverse strong! Workiverse motherfucking strong!
Those are people repping y'all's little thing. So y'all notice the fact that he didn't even bother to mention the fact how big of a fucking loot. He didn't want to acknowledge the fact about how dumb do you have to be to sit there and let Square get to you. You didn't want to say that, did you, Filthy?
Oh, yeah! Okay!
Good.
What?
Good.
Yeah! Yeah!
For you tell me how much you need to build your house back, and I'm about to make you an offer that you can't never refuse. I'm gonna give you that grant.
I'm gonna
much
need
you
at least
need?
80 grand. 80 grand is what the
Tell you
loan
what.
is. That's the grant I'm going for. 80 grand.
Well, get in your little truck.
All right.
You drive to Nashville, Tennessee. I'll have 80,000 with me. If you can beat me and take it, you can have it.
Well, fuck that. Even if I lose, I better get 80 grand.
No,
But man, you
that
might
ain't
whip my ass.
Well, this guy obviously believes in participation
I'm
trophies.
not trying to say
will.
you can whip my ass. Okay, well, I could also stab you in the fucking throat and fucking take the 80 grand. If you got cash money on you like that, I'll fucking kill you and take it. Fuck you.
Damn. Okay.
Hellbilly, or should I say, Glenn. You shouldn't get up on panels, drunk, and make death threats. But I urge you to keep doing so. And I hope the Workiverse continues to support your drunken shenanigans. It will only help my cause.
I'd fucking cut your throat from ear to ear, and I'd laugh and play with your blood until the kind. I'm a
Wow. I don't even remember catching that.
bad motherfucker. Ask your boy. Ask your boy. Before you come out here, keep on running your mouth, motherfucker. Send Books the address. Send the address, and I'll be there 3 days. I'll be there in 3 days.
All you gotta do
You think
is
I'm
get to
fucking
Nashville.
around? I'm serious. I'll buy a bus ticket. I'll go to Greyhound tonight. Y'all, and I'll pay for my own bus ticket there. But I'm gonna use that
Okay.
80 grand to get a bus ticket back. And I guarantee you, you're gonna
All right.
fucking hurt. So
Well,
if you
look,
want to do it, let's do it.
Hurt. You just said he
I'm
was
gonna
gonna be dead. You just said he was gonna be dead. What do you
try
mean
to kill
hurt?
you though. It ain't gonna be no boxing match. You're fucked, and you know.
okay,
Affirmation number 3.
okay. Well, good luck with that.
Okay, man, don't fucking lie. If you ain't got it, just say, "Hey, I ain't got it."
There you go. There
You got
Oh,
it?
there you go, right there.
That's a little note right there that I wrote to Sly.
You got it, man.
Can I shoot a gun on your panel? Is it okay if I go outside and shoot a gun or no? You want? What do you want me to shoot? Can we shoot
You're
a
highly
pistol?
intoxicated. You're highly intoxicated. I would love for you to go shoot a gun. Have
Thank you for reminding that.
you been drinking? Yeah, I want you to shoot your fanciest gun. You telling me if you ever learn the identity
Just because you didn't say yes doesn't mean. I mean, he asked for beers and stuff. Yeah, he was drunk.
of Ghosts of Shadows,
Filthy brought it up. Truth brought it up. I brought it up. Books brought it up.
you would find him.
You know
Shoot
who
him in the
what's his
face.
name?
I don't know his
Yeah,
name.
I'd shoot him in the. I would do that.
Number 4. Must be a record.
Well, I'm gonna shoot the gun at something. I gotta find some shoes first. So that's my
You say
thing
you
right
gonna-
now.
You said once you find Ghost of Shadows, you gonna kill him dead.
Oh yeah. I'm
And another death threat. Oh, Mr.
Number
Whitmer,
5.
you, sir,
Number 5.
are digging quite a hole for yourself.
time to. Yeah, is that what time it is?
That's what time it is.
Yeah. Well, let me do it. I'm gonna cut the camera. Is there a way to cut this camera around to where you?
Now, I wouldn't think you got a silencer on it. I don't know what it is with this connection, why we couldn't actually hear it louder, but you can see the muzzle
Can
flash.
see it, or you just want to hear it. I'm gonna try to do it. I don't know if you can see what I got. Got
Alright?
something. No. Can you see it?
No, we can't see that. Just go ahead and shoot it.
All right.
Okay.
One more. One more.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot the gun. Yeah. All right.
Muzzle flashes.
I thought you said that shit was loud. I couldn't even hear shit. Was that a 38?
Yeah. That's 30. It's loud as fuck, man. That's what I'm
Wow.
saying. It's loud though.
Yes, that's right. You all seen and heard that correctly. The drunken, inbred, racist buffoon pulls out a .38 revolver and shoots it until it's empty. All during a live, on camera nonetheless. And who do you represent, again, Hellbilly?
Working very strong. Working very motherfucking strong. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
What?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, that's right. The Workyverse. I'm sure they are very proud of your antics from that live stream. You are pathetic. And you put your nephew into situations that he doesn't belong. Much like Dumb Genius does with his children. And now, that you have ran your booze sucker, we will all be waiting for you to catch that Boston Nashville tough guy. I bet you don't. It's time you get checked.
No, he's going to be catching the paddy wagon.
You run your mouth entirely too much. You will fight no one, you scrawny simp. Now, take your welfare check, and buy Spokesman some crayons and a coloring book. I'll be watching, and be there to say, I told you so. Until then, folks. Be a leader, not a follower. Voice your opinion. Be strong. Good day.
Well, what do we got to say? Nobody's in the chat? Really? Oh.
made this clear. I probably should put on a community post, but I felt like I've said it like at least 3 to 4 times. If I tell Mod to block someone, you better fucking do it in 30 seconds or your wrench is being taken away. I've said that like 3 to 4 times. I've never actually really enforced it, and I should, but I'm not going to enforce it on Carrie because I like Carrie and I want her to be here. Not anyone, I mean, in general, I'm not anyone right now. Hold on, I gotta look. No one right now. No one in particular right now. I'm just saying. No one in particular. I did have to burp though. I did burp. Yeah. No one in particular, Carrie. No one in particular. That's right, Gary. Yeah, because guess what? Real gangsters don't give a fuck. They just commit the crime.
And I'm
Real
blocking
G's
Ruskies.
commit crimes and not care. Don't move in silence. We're not ninjas. Ninjas move in silence. But this is not Japan. I think like people get confused. Or they
Oh god, dude, not watching you.
Who cares? Oh, Square run. Did he run off?
Stop! Come on! Stop moving! You
Square,
fucking
did you
faggot.
run off, buddy?
Go fucking beat your.
You
Go
ain't gonna
fucking.
hit
Go
books,
fucking beat
man.
your. Go beat your disabled nephew. You're fucking leading
Square.
astray. You fucking cocksucking
Square.
motherfucker. Yeah, go beat him up.
Square.
And I deserved it.
Chameleon.
And I deserved it. And I deserved it. Ugly ass. Fucking learn how to talk. Take that motherfucker to some speech class.
Damn.
Take that motherfucker to some speech classes.
No, fuck you,
Hell, I
Square.
would
Stop. No, he
No,
had,
fuck
he was
you,
in speech
motherfucker.
therapy.
I didn't.
Why
I
do you
didn't
gotta
never.
go? Y'all motherfuckers, that's
I
the only
didn't never
thing you
go
got,
at
right?
you.
Is to go, to come at
I
me,
didn't
you
never
gotta
go
go
at.
at my nephew, right? That's what you
No,
did in
no,
the
no.
beginning.
I never.
That's
No,
what
no,
you
no, no,
did.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, when you go around, Glenn, following and you taking care of somebody, they're gonna follow you and do what you do, dumb fuck. There you go, trying to put him on the shield again.
People, not to
I
hurt
didn't hear this or see this, so Andrea versus Cassie, let go.
people. You don't have to stab them and fucking slice their neck open.
But the question, and
Okay.
it's to Andrea. So you're cool with coming at me when I've done nothing to you. You say you don't have friends, but boy, you and Arby both love to throw my pictures up and talk about me though, right?
Because it gives you relevance, like right now, Cassie.
No,
And don't
honey,
act
it
like
doesn't
you're
give me
innocent. Wait a
relevance.
second. Don't act like you're innocent. You are
What have
not
I done
innocent.
to you? What have I done
They
to you?
You run your mouth more than anyone else.
Okay.
And
Okay.
your friends know it. Just because I don't
Okay.
have mercy on you and I don't give a fuck about your health condition,
I don't care if you
Hey, I just want to say something too. Public service
You do or
announcement.
not, Andrew?
Mustard. You know nobody believes your dumb little horribly fucking made recorded echoing videos when Books is clearly talking shit to me back and forth, and I said, you know how you could do something? I didn't say to do. Oh fuck you, pathetic motherfucker. He's still trying to get my attention so bad.
Your personal shit to yourself or on the back streets because it's not for the troll community.
Bitch, I don't care. The people
don't
know
come
I have
looking
breast
for
cancer,
sympathy.
so what?
Well, you're not
You're
going to
the
get
one that
sympathy.
comes
You
at
can't talk
me.
shit with your cancer hat on. I don't give a fuck. I could have
I
cancer
can
too
talk
for all you
shit
fucking
without
know,
my
bitch.
cancer hat on, honey.
How do you know I don't fucking have cancer, Cassie?
As we say, your health doesn't define you. I mean, having
Yeah,
cancer.
Exactly.
Paula.
So
It
stop
doesn't.
fucking crying about it. If you want to get up here
I
and go
don't
head to
cry
head with
about
me,
it.
and go
When have I
toe-to-toe-
cried about
You
it,
talk
Andrea?
shit.
When have I
You
cried
talk
about
shit.
it, Andrea?
You want to talk shit, you're going to get shit talked back, Cassie. Grow as a troll. I'm helping you grow as a
Okay.
troll. You should be more thankful.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to be a troll. So, and I don't fucking use my cancer as a crutch, bitch, either. So, you can kiss my ass. And you're full of shit and you're fake as fuck.
I just don't like you. Bye.
Good. I don't like you either, bitch.
Not like her though.
Well, I guess
No, I don't like you either. So you can kiss my ass, quite frankly. You're the biggest joke on YouTube, you and your little fucking cohort. So you both
but you
can
don't have
kiss
a
my
picture of the
ass.
back of my ass in a bathing suit, do you, Cass?
Oh dear. Oh no, I have a whole piece swimsuit on and your my
Why
butt
are
is
you
showing.
sending chicks
Oh,
pictures
dear
of yourself in
Lord.
a bathing suit, you fucking weirdo? When you were
Because
trying
I
to be
sent
Chrissy's
it
little
to a
lesbian
woman's
lover.
chat where it was all women, you stupid bitch.
Well, you
Shit, I
got
would-
got then, didn't you? Who's the stupid
I
one?
would-
Not me. I don't go into all women's chats. You weird fucking nut.
Oh yeah, because it was a women chat with a whole bunch of us that were all friends.
How do you
So
like my
whatever, Andrea,
bathing
you can
suit?
kiss my ass. You're the
How do you
dumbest
like my
fucking biggest
bathing
piece of shit
suit?
ever.
Well, if they were your friends, they would have told you, get something with underwire because those titties are lopsided.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
Lucky
they
they
are.
are.
They are because I'm missing half of my breast, bitch, and I'm proud of it. I don't need fucking to get fucking fake tits or fucking any of that. I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm missing
I
half
just
my
said get
tit.
some
That's why they're
underwire. Don't take it
lopsided.
personal.
At least I have both of my nipples, you stupid hoe.
I just
Next
said you
question.
needed some underwire.
Hey,
Something with some, a different cut up top. That's all. You got
In
some
lighter
pretty good.
news, I
They need
farted.
more. They need a little more support than what that bathing suit was
You
offering. But it was a
didn't
cute.
smell like last night's supper.
I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
and like you said, it's a swimsuit, and the picture of the back of it is
No, Kathy,
covering my
honestly, it
whole
was a
ass.
cute- it
It's
was a
not like
cute
I'm in a
swimsuit.
G-string, you
I'm just
idiot.
saying anything is trollable. It was a cute swimsuit. I'm serious. Like my boobs
Anything
are
is-
lopsided too. We have similar looking
Yeah, we
tits,
know that.
actually.
I don't even care. I got a whole video of me catching a bath, and you get to see all of Paula in a fucking
The
swimsuit.
point is that
And no
anything is
two piece.
trollable, guys. That's
Oh
all. That's the
God,
point.
please,
Anything's
nobody
trollable.
point me to that video.
It's nothing personal. We all have stretch marks.
Yeah, I'm proud of my stretch marks. I've had 3 kids and I'm damn proud
Me
of it.
too.
They're
I
all
look like a
amazing fucking kids.
I look like
And I
I look
take
like a
care of
fucking
mine. I
Conan
take care of
Tank over
mine.
my dog.
Like a road
but
map.
Andrea, let me ask you a question. Yeah,
You know they got something to help with stretch marks, don't you?
3 kids, right?
4.
4.
Wow.
Damn. So
Damn.
what can see their mother on YouTube?
Are you going to
showing
start
her
questioning
titties?
my motherhood? If you're going to question mine, question everybody else's. You're not going to single me out, Vinny.
No,
Because I'll
I'm
fuck
just
the world up
asking a
today.
question. Not,
Hey, Becky
just asking.
G.
Don't
But
bring
would you
motherhood
wanna be a
into it.
mother
I
too?
keep my YouTube life separate. I'm in a separate area. My children are not around. So don't you fucking worry about it. It's the weekend. It's the weekend. Are you my baby's daddy?
Hell no, I don't want to be. I wouldn't hit you with the 10
Okay,
foot
then don't
pole,
worry
bro.
about what my fucking kids are doing. Worry about what your
Vinny, she's
friends
like
kids are doing.
68. Her kids are older than us.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so.
That's why I talk about putting you guys in high chairs with
I think I'm older
Lunchables.
than her.
Say what? What'd you say, Andrew?
I said that's why I talk about putting you guys in high chairs with Lunchables and Blue's Clues on. Listen to Steve and get your little notebook like Dana.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I
I'm
think I'm
pretty sure that's what you have.
Hold on, I'm gonna roll something. I seem preoccupied.
You're probably gonna get right up on that.
Come on, Paula, let's get it in, girl.
You have to throw on some Fraggle Rock.
Hey, Brooke, do you smoke?
All right. Enough of the news of the YouTube.
Although we did also
We'll get into
speak
some
to her
regular
neighbors
stream
today
stuff
who
now.
told us something about her just seemed off.
Jesus Christ. You know, she said she was going to go down to the police station and shut it up, but I just, I didn't really, give me a fucking break. Screw the shit out of those cops. I guarantee you, this is a first for these cops. To fire in their own station. They're being attacked. How often does that happen?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
Who is
Bruce
he?
Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what'd he do?
And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Oh.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Along with our content genius, Michael Rivers, who's behind the camera. And basically, he's, the man behind the plan. Basically, I'm his puppet. I'm just a vessel through which he works. So today we're reacting to craziness, just craziness. Before we get into craziness, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com, a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you decide to go into a police station and shoot the hell out of it. Guess what? You're going to need to sign over all your assets because you're crazy. So you go to eSign.com, you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month. Guess what you do? You sign away your power of attorney because you cannot control a thing because you're in custody. I use it all the time. I have people sign like medical releases, when building up a case or retainer agreements. It's a great way to effectively and remotely do business. And I implore you to use the products that...
See, Glenn, even if you could have the money to afford Bruce Rivers, he would probably just tell you, save your money, man. You self-snitched. You're going away. That self-snitching going to put you in a cage. You ain't coming home to 2058, bitch.
Support this show. If you like this show, support our advertisers. Anyway, so eSign.com, effective way to remotely do business. So in Bristol, Connecticut, on Thursday, October 5th at approximately 11:30 p.m., which everybody should be in bed or just about to be in bed. You should have your silk jammies laid out for you. You should have your warm milk has already been drank, and you should be ready for bed. A lone female, later identified as 51-year-old Suzanne LaPrice, entered the lobby of Bristol Police Department at 131 North Main Street. She approached the front lobby desk office window and banged on the window with a handgun. Yes, that's right. She went into the police station and banged on the bulletproof glass with a handgun. Let's just get to the video. Is not terribly long, but it does raise a bunch of issues. First of all, first in the frame when she gets in here, at 1 second into the frame, it looks like she's got the gun pointed at her head. Suicide by cop is a thing, and it's nothing to laugh at. And and somebody with mental health problems, nothing to laugh at. But sometimes in the criminal defense world, we do laugh at things, and because some of the stuff we see is so horrific, you can't help but laugh because you just can't even believe it. Okay, now you walk into a police station with a gun out. Why would you do that? And you know what? And this is why you have bulletproof glass in a police station.
Well, that seems like they would do that.
Now, I don't think she's coming to bitch about a parking ticket. I'm just guessing.
Nope.
And thank God thank God it was at a time where there's nobody else in the lobby.
Yeah, right.
I don't think there's any sound of this. It's kind of tragic. She looks to be in her 30s, I would bet. 30s, maybe 40s. So to walk into a police station with your handgun out, that only says one thing: shoot me. Shoot me, I want to die. That's really what that says. It just says, shoot me, I want to die. There's no other reason for somebody to do that. And this is why the police department has bulletproof glass. Oh, there we go. That was the first shot right there. That gun is a semi-automatic handgun. Probably holds anywhere from 8 to 15 rounds, depending upon what kind of gun it is. That's one shot. Oh, she's getting ready for battle here. She puts the gun down. Oh, she's got her cigarette. Gotta have your cigarette. By the way, you guys, none of you should smoke, because this is what happens when you smoke. Now, here's the other thing. So there will be cameras. Obviously, there are cameras in there because we're watching this right now, right? But there are also speakers and microphones that are in this lobby area. So somebody from another part of the station can be talking to her. And it looks like she's got the gun kind of to her head. These are really cries for help, honestly. I mean, they're super fucking dangerous, but they're just cries for help.
Yeah, she just
back to her head. That's just
she just pointed at her
what would
head.
drive somebody to do that? You know, what would drive somebody to be that desperate that they go down to the police station with a gun and start firing into the bulletproof glass?
There's already guys in it.
There we go.
Brian, do not move. Do not move, Brian. Are these windows bulletproof? Shots fired.
So the officers are asking and I think they're probably talking about the doors that she's shooting at right now.
Are these windows bulletproof?
We got 2 cars going off to the front.
So that sounds like them firing back.
That's her right here, right? Laptop, yep. It's out. It's out. Come out.
And tell me the cops' adrenaline isn't at high alert at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, she just went back. Okay, she just went to the right. I have the gun in her hand right now. Brian. Okay, go.
It's amazing when you have a situation like that and somebody doesn't die. And I think I've told you this a bunch of times, but I had a client who drew down on some cops, and holy crap. I mean, he went to go buy a gun in the morning and told his daughter, call the cops because your dad's going to die today. And he wanted to die suicide by cop. And he goes to Walmart, half in the bag, buys a rifle, goes back to his house, fires the gun off in his field, and the cops come and shut down the highway, and he fires at him. And they're kind of in his barn, and 2 shots hit the frame of the barn, and then it jams, and then they tackle him. Holy shit, how does that guy not die?
Everyone good?
Yep, good.
Bristol, get a 17.
There's already guys in it.
Brian, do not move. Do not move, Brian. Are these windows bulletproof?
Shots fired.
So he's firing back at her, but it's not doing anything because the windows are bulletproof. You know, she couldn't shoot in, and they can't shoot out.
These windows bulletproof? We got 2 cars going on to the front.
I guarantee you, this is a first for these cops to fire in their own station. They're being attacked. How often does that happen?
That's her right here, right? Black top, yep. Get down! Get down on the ground! You serious, man? Nope, she just went back. Get down on the ground! Okay, she just went to the right. I have it in her hand right now. Ryan. Hey, go, 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 go!
Clearly a psych problem. Clearly a psych problem. And we'll talk about that on the other side of this real quick.
Everyone good? Yep, good.
Scare the shit out of those cops. So when you look at the kind of charges that somebody would face under something like this, there's a couple of different aspects of something that's going on here. Number one, is she competent to stand trial? So the first thing, you know, any defense lawyer would do is do what they call a Rule 20, or, you know, every state's got their version of a competency examination. Then you also do a Rule 21, which is, you know, even if you're competent to stand trial, were you laboring under a mental health condition that you didn't really know right from wrong at the time? And so she clearly is laboring under some kind of mental health stress. Whether it's enough to say it's a defense is a completely different subject. Now let's see what the news had to say about her court appearance later.
And today we learned that Suzanne LaPrise is a mother of 3. She volunteers at her local church and she works to help the elderly. Although we did also speak to her neighbors today who told us something about her just seemed off.
You think? Jesus Christ. You know, she said she was going to go down to the police station and shout it up, but I just, you know, I didn't really, give me a fucking break. Of course something seemed off. Then why didn't you do something? You know, if you encounter somebody that's in distress like that, do something about it. Don't just sit on the fucking sidelines and wait until they pop a gasket and all of a sudden guess where they wind up. Do something. Try to lend a hand or call the cops. Because sometimes law enforcement involvement saves lives. It really does. Not all the time. I just whipped up a cop today on the stand. That was pretty fun, actually.
She is the neighbor that always like would wave, but like wouldn't like say anything, but she like was kind of creepy.
This is the welcome mat outside the plane.
Come back with, yeah. I think it's easy to say she don't like cops.
Villa apartment of 51-year-old Suzanne LaPrise.
So she's the kind of neighbor that would wave, and she's really kind of creepy neighbor. Well, seems to me that the creepy neighbors do creepy shit.
Spraying bullets at officers from her high-capacity magazine.
That's honestly.
So a high-capacity magazine probably means 15 bullets or so.
Yeah.
LaPrise, who was allegedly drunk and high at the time, was arraigned in New Britain Superior Court.
Drunk and high at the time doesn't help you. It's better if she was completely sober and just out of her mind. If you're drunk and sober, or if you're drunk and high, what happens with that is you wind up being voluntarily intoxicated, and that's not a defense. Yeah, shit business. Yeah, remember Miss Shit Business, who that was killing and dismembering her boyfriend seemed to be her shit business.
Standing beside her public defender, we learned more about her.
She's a mother of 3 adult children, including her 33-year-old son who has Down syndrome. She is his main care provider. She feeds him, she dresses him, she gives him his insulin that he needs every day. And she also has experience doing this because, as she indicated to me, she spent 21 years of her life working for the Connecticut Department of Development.
Now, Man Bun here is just really trying to tell you, she's a good woman and she really, you should let her out on bail. She's not a risk of flight. And she's not really a risk to the community, just to cops in their own station. Give me a fucking break.
Services
LaPrise was most recently working part-time at an adult day center, providing.
Now let's take a look at Miss LaPrise. Boy, she's got a nice shiner there. How the fuck do you think she got that? And she's got a little, goose egg on her forehead. That probably happened when the cops took her down.
So alarming that the judge required her to post 30% of her $1 million bond in order to get out.
Criminal attempt murder with special circumstances, legal discharge, legal carry of firearms under influence of. See, there you go, right there, hillbilly. You may be looking at one or two of them
She's
charges.
facing a slew of criminal felony charges.
Damn, she had an illegal possession of a large capacity magazine. Criminal. Wonder what state this was in. Because they had to have a pistol permit and everything. This sounds like one of them Massachusetts fucking states. Criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, breach of peace.
All right, so let's look at her charges. Criminal attempted murder with special circumstances, i.e. law enforcement. Illegal discharge of a firearm, who cares? Illegal carry of firearms under the influence of drugs and alcohol, who cares? Criminal use of a weapon, who cares? Violation of a pistol requirements, who cares? Illegal possession of large capacity magazine, who cares? Criminal mischief, first degree, well, that could be something. Reckless endangerment, first degree, maybe a little bit of something. Breach of the peace, who cares? So basically, the two big ones are the criminal mischief, because the first degree, because that could be a decent one, and the attempted murder with special circumstances. That's probably the most important one. So when you look at what they're trying to do here, they're doing a bail argument, basically. And remember what I said on bail, it's two things. It's risk of flight, danger to the public. She may not be a risk of flight because she's got ties to the community. She's employed. She's a mother of 3. She volunteers for the elderly, and she shoots at cops. So the last one is probably danger to the public. Clearly, she is a danger to the public.
LaPrise told her public defender she probably suffers from mental health issues.
You think? You think she might suffer from some mental? You can't. You can't not. You can't not laugh at some of this because some of it's just so fucking crazy. It's so out there. It's you and I wouldn't do this, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. None of us would do this normally. And so when we see people act like this, it's why do you think this has 3 million views? Because it's you just look at it and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe what's going on.
Actually makes me feel very uncomfortable. Like she could have done that to our neighborhood and I wouldn't want that. Like I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want that in your neighborhood? Of course you wouldn't. You find out your neighbor just shot up a cop station. What the fuck are you going to do? I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? When you're sitting there in your bed and you hear gunshots outside your window, and there's plenty of people who do hear that, you don't feel safe. And when all of a sudden you hear that your neighbor just went to the police station and tried to kill people, or at least, was shooting into a bulletproof glass at cops, you're kind of like, oh my God, I hope she doesn't come back.
LaPrise was placed on a suicide watch while she's behind bars. She's going to be back in court on October 17th.
Sometimes when people are on a suicide watch, you know what they put them in? They're naked underneath. They call it the green turtle suit.
Yep.
And basically it's a Velcroed garment.
It's not a garment. It's like something reminiscent of a fucking onesie that doesn't fit and does not give you any protection from the elements, basically.
It's very thick that you really can't move around a lot in, and you can't get it off. And so you can't hang yourself or do anything crazy with bed sheets or whatever.
And this incident comes nearly a year after 2 Bristol police officers were killed by a suspect while responding to a domestic disturbance. We're live outside New Britain Superior Court.
Think about that. So 2 officers were killed a year ago in response to a domestic. Domestic calls are probably the most dangerous calls that police officers get because they're heated. People don't listen. A lot of times there are weapons involved. And people don't give a shit. It's like, fuck you, you're going to leave me. I'm going to make sure that you never see your kids again. I've seen it happen. They kill everybody else and then they kill themselves. Very, very difficult for cops. So when something like this happens, the cops go, into attack mode and self-preservation mode. I will tell you this: she's not getting out. There's just no way she's getting out.
Mm-mm.
And depending upon what she was high on, she may or may not have any kind of mental health defense. It didn't look to me from the video that she was targeting anybody in particular.
Even if she does, she'd be obviously looking at however much commitment it would be.
So if she's just trying to get attention, that's one thing. If she, and she sets the gun down. So when she sets the gun down, that's when they tackle her. It's too bad the cops had to go through that, because guess what? That's kind of their home, and that's how they see it. And they work out there, they shower there, they have their meetings there. It's where they work, but it's also considered kind of like a sanctuary for the cops. And somebody invaded that sanctuary, and now thank God they had bulletproof glass. It's very difficult to defend somebody like this because two things. One, most of the time they're not that cooperative with you. If you remember Shabusiness, how many fucking lawyers did she have? I think she went through like 7 lawyers or something like that. And she went through just a ton of lawyers
Hell, she attacked one of them in court.
I've represented people on mental illness cases quite a bit. There was a very prominent lawyer here in town, and I had this client who was threatening to kidnap his daughter and then ransom her off because she thought people were after her. And she was really pretty, and she was not Harvard, but she was, Ivy League educated, and she was on her way to get her master's, or her master's in psychology. And the wheels just fell off her car. I mean, she was adult onset paranoid schizophrenia. Don't think that that's what this is, but you never know. And so mental health is a big, huge part of our criminal justice system. So many times somebody's going through something or has some kind of mental health issue, but it doesn't meet the McNaughton test, the higher standard. It's kind of a high standard to show that you are not guilty by reason of mental illness. Everybody thinks, oh, you just got to claim that you're not guilty because you're crazy. Doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. If you are experiencing some mental health issues, go get some help. Don't wait until it bursts your bubble. I always told my son, whenever we're
hillbilly
dealing with any kind of emotional stuff, you got to pour the pop bottle out. Imagine your emotions are going into a pop bottle, like liquid, and if you keep filling it up, and you don't pour it out once in a while, it's going to burst. And when it bursts, glass goes everywhere and everybody's going to get cut. And that's what happens with mental illness. If it's not dealt with on a regular basis, it explodes on something like this. It's so funny because what I do on these episodes, I kind of try to come off as funny, because I think some of this stuff is funny from a practitioner's standpoint. But as we get into the episode, I start kind of realizing, we're dealing with people, and I get a little preachy. So if I get a little preachy, it's because I give a shit, and and I like to make you laugh, but I also like to make you care and inform you as well. So that's just what we're doing here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts with the man we call the content genius and me, the board certified criminal defense lawyer. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please just let my go.
What's up, Hunter? Yes,
She
I
would tell
did.
me all the time, if you just confess, I will stop. You confess, I will stop, which is torture. Jody is, in my experience, one of the most intelligent human beings.
And we're back on the child abuse of the 8 passengers of the Hill Grant Ruby Frank case. Let's get into it.
I've ever come in contact with. She knows exactly what she's doing.
There has been a lot of talk about Jody Hildebrandt. disgraced mental health therapist accused of abusing the children of YouTuber Ruby Frankie. But now we sit down with her niece, Jessie Hildebrandt, where we hear some chilling allegations of mistreatment. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Ruby Frankie and Jodi Hildebrandt. At this point, they're almost household names in the true crime community. The pair were thrust into the spotlight at the end of August when Frankie's 2 young children were found in Hildebrandt's residence in terrible condition. To give you an idea, Frankie's 12-year-old son escaped from a window, went to a neighbor who called 911.
Ruski, you're wanting to come on my panel now? Yeah, Ruski, I saw the fucking troll. That's a little sloppy.
And then saw the boy emaciated and had deep lacerations from being tied up. His 10-year-old sister was found by authorities in similar condition. Hildebrandt, Frankie, they were taken into custody. They were each charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, which, by the way, each charge carries up to 15 years in prison. That's what we're talking about here. Now, we've been focusing so much on Ruby Frankie. We want to switch gears and focus now on Jodi Hildebrandt. So Frankie's co-defendant and also her business partner at her connections company that provided counseling services to people. And we had the unique opportunity to interview Jodi Hildebrandt's niece, Jessie Hildebrandt. You see, their father is Jodi's brother. And by the way, Jessie uses they, them pronouns. Now, I had this unique opportunity to interview Jessie, and they were not only so generous with their time, but also so open with what happened to them. And really, we want to thank them again for coming on. And there's a lot to get into. So let's get into it. I want to warn you right now, though, that the allegations spelled out by Jessie are very disturbing. All right, let's lay this out. And we're going to start where Jessie started off by explaining how they even wound up living with Jodi Hildebrandt in another state. And they knew that something might be off with Jodi.
So I was 16 years old when I was left in her care. I was typical angry, angsty teenager, very strict family, very letter of the law, very doctrinally influenced upbringing. And I was kind of a wrecking ball, I think, to my family, or at least to my parents, because I questioned things. So I was living in Corona, California. We go to Utah for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. They had a big party, and I got into a fight with my mom, and I went downstairs, took her phone, and woke up. I fell asleep and woke up to a knock on the door that my parents had left and that I wasn't going with them, and that my life as I knew it was about to change. So it started off with me at my grandparents and at Jodi's on the weekend, and then it quite quickly became me living with her full time.
So imagine that. According to Jessie, their parents essentially gave up on them, and they ended up living with their Aunt Jodi Hildebrandt, who didn't seem to be the nicest person. Ruby Frankie's case is being widely covered everywhere right now. In fact, there were over 40 articles published in the last month on her charges alone. And often stories like this, they become sensationalized, and finding objective and balanced coverage can be pretty difficult. Well, that's why we're excited to tell you about this app and website by Ground News. So in one place, they combine local and international news and show context, like how factual the reporting practices are, and even who owns the entity, so we can compare coverage and get the full picture. For example, on the website, we can see that more than 80% of these sources are highly factual, and more than half are media-owned companies. So it's interesting to compare the headlines with this context, where we can see how legitimate a source is, who funds them, and how certain word choices can alter our understanding of a story. Ground News is on a mission to hold the media accountable by providing all sides of every story, and we believe what they're doing aligns perfectly with our mission. They even have a feed, it's called the Blind Spot feed, where they highlight stories that are being covered primarily by only one side of the media. We find this tool extremely resourceful, and we think you will too. You can check it out for yourself at ground.news/LCN for free, or subscribe through our link before October 31st for unlimited access, all to support holding the media accountable. The link is in the description. Now, Now, keep in mind that when Jesse went to live with Jody, Jody didn't have her connections company yet, but she was working as an independent therapist. And as Jesse explained about their aunt's techniques, this took a very dark turn.
Jody is very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities because they are so extreme. If she were just to start out with those things, everyone would recognize it and they would be shocked and be like, absolutely not. But she's very subtle. She's very subtle and she's very calculated. And she's, it's like a frog being boiled in water. You know, you start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature. That's how it was. So it started off with me and my grandparents and at Jody's on the weekend. And then it quite quickly became me living with her full time. And then I was pulled out of school. So I wasn't allowed to go to school. So I would just be with her at her office. She would put me into this little side room where I would just wait there and while she, like up to 12 hours a day.
And the abuse, according to Jesse, started with psychological techniques.
And then the other thing that she had me do is she would give me a piece of paper and she would have me write out my sins. So then she could then read them back to me, have me get on my hands and knees and beg for forgiveness as she read them to me.
Pretty startling to hear. But then Jesse says it got so much worse, that it was this campaign of isolation, manipulation, and self-doubt.
Her belief is that if you find identity in something, if you feel good about something externally of yourself, that is, it is a distraction to the core issue at hand. And in her mind, that means sin. So she strips you of identity, she strips you of credibility, and she isolates. And so she's saying everything that you say is a lie. Everything that you say is manipulation. You're manipulating everyone around you. You're lying and destroying everyone's life. So for the sake of everyone else's safety, we're duct taping you.
You heard that right. Jesse alleges that Jody duct taped their mouth so that they couldn't speak. Think about that. And as we know, at least one of the Frankie children were allegedly tied up and had these open wounds. So that's kind of an eerie fact right there. But according to Jesse, it also got more physical.
I turned around to walk and she punched me in the back and I fell down onto the ground. She ended up going inside, which in hindsight is like pretty wild that she did that.
Now you might be thinking that's pretty bad, but I want you to listen to this because Jesse explained that she was forced to sleep outside in the cold.
So I was sleeping outside in the snow. That was another thing. I wasn't allowed to have a bed. I was sleeping in what she told everyone that it was like a mummy bag, you know, Sub-Zero type of sleeping bag. No, it was absolutely not. This was a like $20 Walmart store brand you use at sleepovers kind of sleeping bag outside in the snow in the middle of winter in Utah. And her justification, because I ended up going to the police, her justification to the police was that she was preparing me for outdoor wilderness therapy. And this was like a kindness to me to give me one more opportunity to confess to sin.
Now, I'll tell you this right now. When I heard that, I thought that this was, again, chillingly, eerily similar to the allegation from Ruby Frankie from years ago that she took her son's bed away for months as a form of punishment. That was a video that went viral as part of her 8 Passengers YouTube channel. People really honed in on that, thought it was a form of abuse. That's when they started contacting authorities. And when I heard that from Jesse, just clicked. Eerie coincidence, similarity. But I have to tell you that in my conversation with Jesse, one of the saddest things was how they perceived what was happening to them.
And my own perception of what was happening was so like messed up and skewed. And I didn't even understand, again, like what was going on. There was like a part of me that knew that that was wrong, that what Jody was doing. But when everyone around you says it's okay, when everyone around you, because people saw
Right.
the abuse happening and did nothing. They did nothing. And when you are passive, when you are a passive observer of abuse, you are unintentionally saying, this is okay. That is what you're telling the victim.
We've seen this before in these kinds of cases where abusers make the victims feel like it was their fault and they did something wrong. Now, again, these are allegations at this point, but again, that's just something we've seen in the past. And Jesse would say, as you just heard, that there were opportunities to stop this, but no one helped them. Now, things at the Hildebrand home eventually became so dire that Jesse felt they had no choice but to run away. But it wasn't so simple. Jesse told me that there were multiple times they tried to run away. They once went to a neighbor's house in a move reminiscent of what Ruby Frankie's child did, but the outcome was very different.
So I ran away to my neighbors. Jody did find me, and this neighbor was like, look, you're a minor. I have to tell her that you're here. I don't want to. And this neighbor also was like very straightforward with Jody, saying that she didn't believe anything that she was doing was correct. And so then I was, when I would go to Jody's work with her, she would put me in this little room, had no windows, and she would have me, I wasn't allowed to read unless it was books that she would assign.
And then there was another time when Jesse apparently went to the local police. They say at first that they thought the officers would help, but after they spoke to Jody, they told Jesse they had to go back with her. He said that it was kind of like a 180, that the tone shifted, the mood changed when the officer spoke to Jody Hildebrand. Jesse apparently, though, even begged for the officers to just lock them away.
And I just shut down, and I told her, I was like, well, can you just arrest me? Like, can you put me in jail? Please. Like, I will go rob something. Just put me in jail. Like, I will, please. And she was like, that's not really how it works.
So as we continue to break down my interview with Jesse Hildebrand, the niece of accused child abuser Jody Hildebrand, business partner, co-defendant Ruby Frankie, there's a lot more to get into, because they claim that they were victims of intense psychological, emotional, physical abuse at the hands of their aunt. But after multiple failed escape attempts, finally, Jesse saw an opening. The last time that she ran away, she managed to hide out in a church and get some rest before she came in contact with a man who fortunately wanted to help her rather than hurt her.
I just ran. I ran and I ran and I ran. And I was so terrified that she was, the entire time I was like, she's right behind me. She's right. She just walked in the room. She knows she's right behind me. And in all reality, she probably didn't know that I left for hours and hours, because she wasn't looking in on me. And Thanksgiving Point, there's a golf course, and the golf course is surrounded by a large fence. And I had unintentionally ran into the golf course, and I came, and when I realized that I was fenced in, I just collapsed. I fell apart because I was so terrified. It's like those dreams you have when you can't run. You're running away from someone, but you can't really run. That's what that was like. That's what that felt like. Where like this one little mistake I made is going to send me back. But then thankfully, she didn't find me. And I just started walking and running, and I ended up sleeping in a church. I ended up walking along the highway, and I'm sure I looked just a mess. I had a skirt, I had this massive jacket. I had this ear thing. I had these purple tights and moccasins where my feet were coming through the bottom. That's what I had. And like this like striped shirt. And I'm sure I just like was just a mess. And this man stopped along the highway and was like, hey, do you need a ride? And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm so good. Like, fresh 18. I was lying. I lied about my age and I lied about my name because I was so scared that I would be sent back. And this man he was very sweet. He was just like, something's wrong. And he knew it. He knew something was wrong. The only phone number I had was a friend, my friend Shambo, who helped me escape, help me escape the streets, like when I did end up going to a homeless shelter.
Incredibly harrowing story there. And you just feel what those years must have been like for Jesse Hildebrand and how tough that must have been for them. It also, I have to say, feels like a horror movie if we take all of these allegations as true. So with all of that in mind, I asked Jesse about the current situation with Ruby and Jody. and what it's like to suddenly see one of your family members on the news for child abuse. Here's what Jessie Hildebrand had to say.
I was in shock, not because of what they were saying about Jodi, but the fact that she was being held accountable was completely just, I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with that and making it make sense in my brain. This is something that I have been trying to talk about for almost 15 years, and no one in authority, no one in my, not that no one in my family, but the people that needed to hear didn't listen. Nothing was done. So for 15 years to have something be so minimized and marginalized and invalidated, and then to wake up to a headline to making it national news is just whiplash, and it's full extent.
But here's the thing, and it's very important to state this, that even though these two children were rescued, in fact, the 4 youngest children of Ruby Franke, they've all been taken into state custody, it doesn't end. The long-term effects don't end. That's something Jessie told me, that they fear the long-term repercussions that Ruby Franke's children may have to deal with for the rest of their lives.
And once they turn 18, once they're no longer children, it doesn't stop. This nearly killed me. This has affected every aspect of my life. Every single part. My ability to have friends, my ability to have partners, my ability to hold jobs. I have complex PTSD from this.
Well, now that Jodi Hildebrandt is in jail without a bond, at least for now, I asked Jessie what their hopes are for the future.
I want her to never have access to vulnerable people ever again. And more than just what I want for Jodi, what I want for the community, for the culture, to recognize that, trust your instincts, build up that muscle of intuition. Things are true.
I want to thank Jessie Hildebrandt for such an incredible interview. We will, of course, continue to follow any developments in the Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt case. Everyone, thanks so much for joining us here on Sidebar. We really do appreciate it. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. Speak to you next time.
Hold on, guys. I'm looking at something. Let's see if this works.
And she would tell me all the time, if you just confess, I will stop. Confess, I will stop, which is torture. Jody is, in my experience, one of the most intelligent human beings I've ever come in contact with. She knows exactly what she's doing.
There has been a lot of talk about Jody Hildebrand, a disgraced mental health therapist accused of abusing the children of YouTuber Ruby Frankie. But now we sit down with her niece, Jessie Hildebrand, where we hear some chilling allegations of mistreatment. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrand. At this point, they're almost household names in the true crime community. The pair were thrust into the spotlight at the end of August when Frankie's 2 young children were found in Hildebrand's residence in terrible condition. To give you an idea, Frankie's 12-year-old son escaped from a window, went to a neighbor who called 911, and they saw the boy emaciated and had deep lacerations from being tied up. His 10-year-old sister was found by a similar condition. Hildebrand, Frankie, they were taken into custody. They were each charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, which, by the way, each charge carries up to 15 years in prison. That's what we're talking about here. Now, we've been focusing so much on Ruby Frankie. We want to switch gears and focus now on Jody Hildebrand. So Frankie's co-defendant and also her business partner at her Connections company that provided counseling services to people. And we had the unique opportunity to interview Jody Hildebrand's niece, Jessie Hildebrand. You see, their father is Jody's brother. And by the way, Jessie uses they, them pronouns. I had this unique opportunity to interview Jessie, and they were not only so generous with their time, but also so open with what happened to them. And really, we want to thank them again for coming on. And there's a lot to get into. So let's get into it. I want to warn you right now, though, that the allegations spelled out by Jessie are very disturbing. All right, let's lay this out. And we're going to start where Jessie started off by explaining how they even wound up living with Jody Hildebrand in another state. And they knew that something might be off with Jody.
So I was 16 years old when I was left in her care. Was typical angry, angsty teenager, very strict family, very letter of the law, very doctrinally influenced upbringing. And I was kind of a wrecking ball, I think, to my family, or at least to my parents, because I questioned things. So I was living in Corona, California. We go to Utah for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. They had a big party. And I got into a fight with my mom, and I went downstairs, took her phone, and woke up. I fell asleep and woke up to a knock on the door that my parents had left and that I wasn't going with them, and that my life as I knew it was about to change. So it started off with me at my grandpa's and at Jody's on the weekend, and then it quite quickly became me living with her full time.
So imagine that. According to Jessie, their parents essentially gave up on them, and they ended up living with their Aunt Jody Hildebrand, who didn't seem to be the nicest person. Ruby Frankie's case is being widely covered everywhere right now. In fact, there were over 40 articles published in the last month on her charges alone. And often stories like this, they become sensationalized, and finding objective and balanced coverage can be pretty difficult. Well, that's why we're excited to tell you about this app and website by Ground News. So in one place, they combine local and international news and show context, like how factual the reporting practices are, and even who owns the entity, so we can compare coverage and get the full picture. For example, on the website, we can see that more than 80% of these sources are highly factual, and more than half are media-owned companies. So it's interesting to compare the headlines with this context, where we can see how legitimate a source is, who funds them, and how certain word choices can alter our understanding of story. Ground News is on a mission to hold the media accountable by providing all sides of every story, and we believe what they're doing aligns perfectly with our mission. They even have a feed, it's called the Blind Spot feed, where they highlight stories that are being covered primarily by only one side of the media. We find this tool extremely resourceful, and we think you will too. You can check it out for yourself at ground.news/LCN for free, or subscribe through our link before October 31st for unlimited access, all to support holding the media accountable. The link is in the description. Now, keep in mind that when Jessie went to live with Jody, Jody didn't have her connections company yet, but she was working as an independent therapist. And as Jesse explained about their aunt's techniques, this took a very
Yeah, I'm
dark turn.
multitasking. I really don't
is
care.
very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities because they are so extreme. If she were just to start out with those things, everyone would recognize, shocked. She's very subtle. She's very calculated, and she's it's like a frog being boiled in water. You know, you start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature, much how it was. So it started off with me at my grandparents and at Jody's on the weekend, and then it quite quickly became me living with her full time. And then I was pulled out of school, so I wasn't allowed to go to school. So I would just be with her at her office. She would put me into this little side room where I would just wait there and while she, like, up to 12 hours a day.
And the abuse, according to Jesse,
Nobody's really up and wants to chat or anything, so I'm gonna end it. Nobody cares about this stuff either, probably. Later.